what a plant should be in terms of the 300-kilometer concept that you have, and also the critical mass that it needs to achieve.
I used to question this, that why cement companies also have so many plants. The same was the case with even sugar industry also. Those were a product wherein the transportation cost is larger than the cost of product.
In terms of the operational efficiency that you've got, lower cost because you're selling at 10 rupees. You can't increase it. You are handicapped with that. Then you have a lower downtime of plants. That should also not happen.
It's a 10 rupee product, and the plant by itself is not as simple as you have. This unit 2, we have I think close to 500 tons of machineries.
Choosing Telangana as one of your starting points for your journey. It's called the juice line that you set up is supposed to be the biggest one out here. What trend does it set apart from the conventional ones that usually work?
One entrepreneur thinks of only one plant which he wants to run and earn a good life.
In fact, the road to 27 is supposed to be a long-term, big vision of yours.
Earlier, I wanted actually more number of plants, but now I have learned more, and I have focused in terms of ideal size of a plant which manufactures carbonated soft drink, juice-based product, water-based products also.
You often speak of young talent. You call them a younger generation as liquid gold.
Today, Gen Z and Alpha Gen, and that is high spending, very much health conscious, have stopped drinking alcohol. They are not taking alcohol, or they are not smoking. They are adopting like coffee. They are going more healthy. Unlike some mid-aged person, he'll just advise, but he will expect me to execute it, or he'll ask me, someone else, to do execution. That never works.
Welcome to Conversations on HYBIZ. I'm Suresh Kochatter. Nutrition is a subject that fascinates many people. After all, we eat, drink, and go all through the day. Sometimes it is all about what you eat and what you drink that makes you healthy. And of course, and how you consume it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a subject that I'll delve into today as I speak to my guest with me, Mr. Manish Turakhia, Managing Director and Promoter of Valencia Nutrition Limited. He wears many hats, but of course I was fascinated when I read how he went through investment phases in his life to finally running what he loves to do most. Welcome to the show, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
So, Mr. Manish, I'll start rolling by asking because there's nothing set as a question, but still I like to ask you. I saw your various interviews that you've done, and I was fascinated by the fact that you admitted investing in companies and learning from them, which is, I think, a great lesson to learn. That especially people talk about when they made money, but not when they lost money. But I think those would have been the lessons that helped you later in the life, isn't it?
That's correct.
And
when
how did you do it?
in equity investments, we say what loss we do is an tuition fee we pay. And it is important to lose money in the early part of the cycle. So then you can build on from there.
Like there's a saying in my mother tongue Malayalam which says the cat that has fallen into the hot water gets scared when it sees a pot of cold water too. So it's learned its lessons. But I guess that's how things pick up, and I'm sure that the way you're going right now at turbo speed, there'll be a lot more to speak about as we go along. For listeners or for viewers who are watching our podcast, when I talk of Valencia as such, and if you're the chief salesperson of the company, not just the founder and the managing director, but the salesperson of the company, how would you sell this company and its products?
I will be just selling the products,
Yes, sir.
not the company, because when the products do well in the market, people recognize the company in the equity markets. So we have to work only on the product curation, preparation of the entire product ecology, and then launch, and then scale, and then become formidable, in terms of economic moat, so that nobody also again can enter our territories. So that's how I will build this company. I have seen many companies getting built this way, and few companies which couldn't do this have fallen down. So my learning journey has been very guiding factor in shaping up this company.
What would that vision be like?
Vision is quite large, but anyway, I have no hesitation in sharing it. I want to build a Berkshire Hathaway here in India in 20 years' time,
Okay.
because I'm from capital market and I always wanted to invest in the way Mr. Buffett used to invest in US in early cycle of his investment. And as early as 1990, when the Wall Street book started coming to India, I started reading it, and I wanted to invest in company like Coca-Cola here in those days. But such companies were now not present here in India. I think it is still not present in terms of public listing. So I'm creating one. There are many such business models which I was going through in my career, which models were not available in India as an investor. So I'm creating those platforms and creating those verticals beneath Valencia Nutrition Limited, which is good for the consumer as well as for the shareholders.
In fact, that's what was my next question, which you really took it away. But in terms of the verticals that we are talking of under Valencia Nutrition, including Valencia Beverages and Super Water, can you just take us through a detail of that? How are the different verticals there, sir?
See, first is Valencia Beverages and Super Waters Private Limited. It's a subsidiary wholly owned by Valencia Nutrition Limited. This has been the primary business ever since the company was formed. And then we are scaling up now. We have understood the entire nuances of this. When I say plant ecology and the customer ecology and the intermediary ecology, which is involves the distributors and wholesalers. So we have mastered that by burning quite a handsome amount. And now we are just scaling up on it. We are riding on it. So that is one part. Right now we are focused on that. Hyderabad also, I have come here to open our unit number 2. Last year also we had opening of unit number 1 on Makar Sankranti only. That was January 14, 2025. And this tomorrow is again unit 2. So unit 1 and unit 2 combined will be the plant number 1. And we have a vision and roadmap laid for the 27 plants by 2030.
In fact, the road to 27 is supposed to be a long-term, big vision of yours. How do you envisage to take it to the logical conclusion? The road to 27.
Earlier, I wanted actually more number of plants, but now I have learned more, and I have focused in terms of ideal size of a plant which manufactures carbonated soft drink, juice-based product, water-based products also. And what we do is we enhance the product quality by infusing vitamins and minerals there, and we use a superior grade of ingredients and preservatives, which other companies also use it. But there are n number of players here in this market. I think there will be at least 1,200 small and large big companies, operating in beverage industry in India. Few of the names you might not even heard also, because there are regional players.
Correct.
The large one only people know, that is Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Tata Global Beverage and Parle, and now Kempa is coming up, and we aspire to be the 5th one by 2030. As a significant player, but there will be many other players. Size of market is expanding here.
So the pie is increasing.
Pie is increasing. Reason is, another thing is, our average consumption is just 9 liters per person in India. It is even lesser than an African continent, which is about 29 liters. If you go to US and all, it is very high. It is about 60 liters per person. That's the kind of consumption they have.
But you also talk of different formats of consumption, which is very important when you, in more practical terms, when you talk of. What does that actually mean, different formats of consumption?
This seems you have picked up from our annual report. See, different format of consumption is same. One is what you drink, another is what you chew, another is what you swallow. So chew is the chewing gum part, and the lozenges, which we will be coming out later. We have developed all this, but we are just waiting for right time. Even we have mints also. And snacks is what we have already launched under Valencia Cleanso. There we add vitamin A, D and E. In beverages, we add B3, B5, B6, B12 and C. That's the premix we have evolved, and we have done a proper masking so that while you are drinking our beverage, you will not get that flavor of a medicine, which normally a vitamin has. But you will enjoy the same beverage like jeera, what you have it on this part, or a lemon, or a cola, or a paneer, which is very much sold in Tamil Nadu. So all that we have vitamin infused. So we have made healthy. All the formats like biscuits. We'll be coming out with biscuits also in our different vertical, same under Valencia Nutrition. So there also we'll be adding vitamin premix. Biscuits is the same, but ours will be superior grade of raw material and added with vitamins.
Sometimes the good stuff is also bitter. I believe there was an experience that you learned early on that sometimes Indians love something sweet to drink.
Not sometimes, all the times Indian love to drink sweet.
Okay.
One should not experiment with the sweetness part of Indian palate. Only thing is you have to enhance the richness of sweet with a different superior grade of sweeteners. But again, that comes at a cost. So in a mass market, we confine ourselves to sugar, at best aspartame. However, stevia is another option. We have erythritol also. Sometimes we'll be using even maple syrup also, but that is for the superior grade of products. Even monk fruit, we have been using monk fruit also as a sweetener. But again, see, monk fruit powder you have to import. It's a very good sweetener, but import is something which will cost you more. So only in few products we are using it. Like in our pregnancy powder and lactation powder, we may include if the doctors advise. Otherwise, we'll use erythritol or some other superior grade of sugar.
But moving from the products to the plant by itself, now that you're setting up your second plant in Hyderabad exactly a year after the first one, the question obviously would be in terms of what a plant should be, in terms of the 300-kilometer concept that you have, and also the critical mass that it needs to achieve. Can you take us through that, sir?
You have done a lot of research on my speeches and my earlier writings. See, this earlier actually, when I in equity markets, I used to question this, that why cement companies also have so many plants.
True.
Same was the case with even sugar industry also. See, those were a product wherein the transportation cost is larger than the cost of product. So it had to remain within a serviceable limit of the transport vehicle. In railways, it used to travel a little more, but still, it's an item of mobility. There is a restriction. So same way, beverage, when you attend to mass beverages, which is 10 rupee, which is a very popular segment in India. And as far as Valencia beverage and super water is concerned, most part of it is hovering around 10 rupees MRP.
Correct.
We may have some upmarket products a bit later. We have curated optic water, which is good for eyes. We have high pH optic water, again with a 8.1 pH. But that will come a bit later. We are ready, but those will be sold straight to the workspaces and the corporate offices in our vending machines. This mass market which goes on the street, general trade and pan shop and bakeries and all, 10 rupees is the MRP. You cannot increase it. And there again, you have to reduce the cost. Now, cost consists of the raw material part, which is chemicals and all. Another is the preform and the cap and the label. So gradually we went on reducing all the costs. Then comes through the processing fees. Earlier we were getting it done from outside plants. We were taking help of several plant owners, which we still continue, but now we will be having our own plants. When our own plant is there, our own plant operational efficiency is such good, our cost has gone down. Once you have that cost down, the structure down, then you need to service in a manner that it is within the, we have found out that within 300-kilometer radius of a plant, you become very viable. So that's how I have drawn this limit. That one plant will service 300-kilometer of radius. You can send it far also, but transportation cost will be more.
Increase.
In case of emergency, we will be sending. But in ideal scenario, the next plant will be just ahead 300-kilometer radius, so 300-kilometer on that side. So 600-kilometer will be the ideal distance between the two plants. And that's how we'll be mapping almost 27 plants to begin with.
28 states in India and then 27 plants.
I think it will be less. I am sure we have to increase that. And each plant will have a combination of juice lines and carbonated beverages and water combined. So that will be integrated plant. Along with that, we will have a preform making machines also. So that to reduce our cost further. That will take up a year later.
The entire thing boils down to operational efficiency, because when you're talking of running something as complicated or as simple as this, whichever way we look at it, in terms of the operational efficiency that you got, lower cost because you're selling at 10 rupees, you can't increase it, you are handicapped with that. Then you have a lower downtime of plants, that should also not happen. And of course, there's something more than that.
See, it's a 10 rupee product, and the plant by itself is not as simple as you have. This in it too, we have I think close to 500 tons of machineries.
Oh.
All machineries and pipe combined together is close to 500 tons. That much mobilization has happened, and there are different vendors for it. Historically, all these beverage plants were being done by a consultant, a turnkey entrepreneur would approach him. Then, because I have this land, I have this water facility, then I want to set up a beverage plant because selling is easy. There is no market to be created. Market exists. Only thing is the way to navigate market is a tricky one. You've got to be very careful because otherwise people can take you for a ride. So, moment I saw that this is going in a turnkey fashion, the price goes up. I broke down the entire components of entire plant, having worked with several plants. Our team knows now which plant and which machinery and which part is to be sourced from which vendor. So we did it. I have set up engineering group. We have about 24 engineers of different capabilities in Mumbai, and we have even shaken hands with the machinery manufacturers also. So now we have that confidence that we will be getting best machinery at a best price. And through our experience, we know how the layout of the plant also matters. If you have lot of circular movements and all, because your land size is small, and you take upward also few one story, second story, the operational efficiency will go down. In our case, a 250 bottles per minute or a 400 bottles per minute machine would be actually working 10% more on a daily basis in a full season, which in other case it is 10-20% lesser than the capacity. So that's how I have achieved that. And our payback is very, very attractive because I am from capital market. I will work on the paybacks first. So two way of achieving payback. One is reducing the capital cost. Another is improving the operational efficiency. So I have achieved both.
Somewhere along the way, say that 3 to 4 to different types of jeeras are also.
Oh, yeah. See, that is 3 to 5 to 6 type of jeera we make. But in India, there must be nothing less than 250 types of jeeras, being manufactured and consumed, because Indian palate is different across India.
So understand that would be tough, isn't it?
No, it's not tough. You have to be with the consumer. You have to be with the region. If you want to be successful, you have to get involved. The moment you are involved, you will know the palate.
So you plan to construct all these plants, you have 37 odd plants that you're planning to do, 27 odd plants by 2030. Is that an achievable target?
If it is not achievable, why we will design that?
No,
why we will not plan it?
Obviously, you would have planned it out, but do you think the rollout is happening as expected?
This is the first unit, first plant combined.
2025, 2026 technically, yeah.
So this vision is starting from now. This is the first plant. We will have a 26 more, but they will be larger than even this unit together,
So your concept also includes PET-only bottles that you have right now. But how does it go from there?
See, 10 rupee, you cannot go in other packing material except PET.
Yes, true.
And this company focus is that. Why I'm curating different subsidiaries is each company should have its own niche. So the management of that company, the employees' mindset has to be of that kind. And investor also, some investor wants to come here and some investor wants to go to, say, our aluminum can beverages, wherein the cost is high, but the sale price is also high.
Obviously, yeah.
There the dynamics are different.
In terms of the Telangana, choosing Telangana as your one of your starting points for your journey, it's called the juice line that you set up is supposed to be the biggest one out here. What trend does it set apart from the conventional ones that usually work, that you've seen working? How different is it?
This is very sharp question, and I'm not going to reveal my trade secrets.
No, you can skirt around it, not a problem.
However, as I just mentioned, traditionally, one entrepreneur thinks of only one plant which he wants to run and earn a good life. He makes good money annually. He has a foreign tour every year. He may own Mercedes or BMW. He'll have a villa because plant will give him so much money, enough to maintain this kind of a lifestyle. He doesn't think beyond one plant. Of course, there are few entrepreneurs here, right in South itself, who have a respectable number of plants. They're quite big also, and they are very good to us also. We are friends. However, unique person is thinking of only one plant. He doesn't look beyond it, and he has people to run it because the margin is so good, and it is every day. Actually, every one bottle going out is every currency. You're printing one currency. So that's how it works. But our vision is very different. I am not going to go to plants anyhow. This plant I am coming. Last year I came for the opening of Unit 1. I am coming now for opening of Unit number 2. Because we have local people who are good. We have people coming from Mumbai. We have our engineering team is there. We keep seeing it on a video. There is no need to move away, And I have learned it from our industrialist friend in Mumbai and my senior generation also when I was in college. It's very easy now actually to set up plant. Even the ecology of setting of plant has evolved in India thanks to policy of Telangana government, the national, central government, everywhere. And blessing has happened in Telangana is because the domestic base here is very strong. And how Telangana emerged is because we took over one unit here in last year, and then that was domiciled in Telangana. And we knew the promoter, he was a nice person. So we wanted to associate with him. So the first takeover was in Telangana. So that's how Telangana is the first one to be expanded.
In terms of your introduction of the 38 PET line here in this particular plant, please correct me if I'm wrong. How important is the premiumization, if I use the right word, in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, the two Telugu-speaking states?
On the contrary, you will be surprised. It will not be a premiumization. It will be the normal way of life here.
Commonization.
Because commonization, people here are quite learned, quite wealthy enough. The kind of development these two states I have seen, I haven't seen it one place in entire India. There are good states like, Mumbai, of course, Bombay is there, but the affordability here in these two states is more. I have observed it. As a concentrated consumer. And that's the reason we will be launching it here first. We already had Vitalize earlier in Bangalore and it was sold across India, but there was no repeat purchase at 45. Now, that was in 28 NAC. 38 NAC is like a Gatorade bottle, with a wide neck.
Sure.
The bottle itself gives you the premium feeling, the way you hold it. And the ingredients which we use now, even consumer knows the superiority of those ingredients. They come looking for it. And there could be some of the model wherein it could be a subscription base also, wherein they want few bottles every 15 days delivered at home. So all those models also will be explored rather than just modern trade and general trade.
This particular plant which you're commissioning tomorrow, in terms of cost, I'm told it's about 60% of the compatible plants.
Who has told you this?
My research. And 3 months to start in terms of setting up it and running. Maybe it's a bit more. You can correct me if I'm wrong again. But I would like to take your views on that. In terms of setting it up, what are the toughest pressure points that you faced in terms of quality and in terms of safety and all these factors?
First thing about the cost. As I explained you some time ago, that we have broken down the machineries. We are not taking turnkey. If you are taking turnkey, the cost is anyway high.
Sure.
Because you don't know the breakup, the intermediary also pockets a large part of that money. So we have worked hard on learning the machineries for last 3 years. And as far as this planning goes, we have partnered with machinery manufacturers. There was 6 months of rigorous exercise for the negotiation and the particular specifications of machines we wanted it. So all that was done for 6 months, and then we started this construction of this plant and ordering of machineries and placement of all the equipments order along with the advance money. It started on October 15th, and we are finishing on 14th. We are finishing, so 3 months. So that is actually groundbreaking exercise of 3 months. But there was a lot of brain work prior to that.
So my number was correct. Okay, I'll come to the part of setting up massive plans. What is the one non-negotiable thing in execution according to you? One thing you will not compromise on.
See, basically, the plant machineries have to be very, very accurate and of a good quality. But good quality machine doesn't mean costly machines. That is first. So we try and reach to the good source, best source at a reasonable price. Even plant managers and operators also have to be good. They have to love the plant. If they don't love it, they just take it as a job.
Yeah.
It will be difficult for anyone to maintain the plants. They have to love the plant and the machinery. Because we may have IoTs and sensors and everything, remote control at Mumbai. We know everything what is happening at the plant.
True.
Some conveyor belt not functioning properly or some parts not functioning. We will get alert the very
Mumbai.
second minute there in Mumbai prior to the plant operator. But however, even that also need to be fixed. So ultimately physically will be fixed by the person who is residing at the plant. So we will be hiring, and we do have people who are actually loving their job. They have a passion to do this kind of function, day in, day out, because we'll be running our plants for at least 20 hours a day. There will be not much downtime.
So you call yourself a investor-preneur. That is a terminology attributed to you in some forums. How different is that from being just a promoter? Because I read somewhere along the way that the early lesson that you learned, the way you burnt your hands on some projects, then you looked up to the legends of the industry from JRD to Dhirubhai Ambani, everybody that you've dealt with in your life. In terms of being an investor-preneur, how different is it?
Those legends, of course, are an exception because they were too passionate about their business, and they have really worked to create the value for us Indians. And there are quite of them. I have been influenced by many of them. Even I am more even impressed by companies like professionally run companies like ITC, where the promoter there is no promoter, but the system driven is so good. I've been witnessing that company for last 35 years. In that particular fashion, today Infosys technology is also system driven. Wipro is also system driven. I believe, and there is a truth, that Reliance is also a highly system driven company. Though the face is Mukesh Bhai, but it is absolutely a system driven company. So that is one part. System inculcation have to be introduced. As an investor-preneur, we are too focused on return on capital employed. A normal a promoter would want to set up a business and establishment for his own reputation, for his own earning, getting family pride. An investor is very, very choosy. He goes to the place where he has first of all, established process wherein he can set up an industry, then scale it up, and then make it sustainable by way of larger share in market and creating a moat. So investor-preneur will ensure all this. A normal entrepreneur would just set up and sell, which is very vulnerable. Many a times he is getting affected by other forces, either from competition or government regulation or from inner labor workforce or even raw material suppliers. In our case, we will be checkmating all of them.
So the
Investor-preneur.
ROI is very important.
ROI and then creation of this moat is very critical.
Metrics.
Yes, moat. There is a Potter's model of 5 forces.
Yes, sir.
So we actually implement it now here. Earlier we used to apply in doing the research and then invest in somebody's company. Now it is being implemented here because I'm myself investor and I'm myself an entrepreneur.
So, in terms of being a nutritional manufacturing hub, looking at your company and also India as a bigger picture, what change in policy in terms of mindset, in terms of capital or execution culture needs to happen?
Actually, it's already happened. Execution mindset has really improved. Today, ever since last 10 years, there are more entrepreneurs than which India had in last 100 years. So execution pace has really gone up. And today's the entrepreneur breed, of whichever age it is, are really focused on scale up and delivering value to the company and introducing a real product market fit, which actually customer needs it, and it is solving one or other problem. In our case, Valencia, we are what problem they have is of the excess of wide variety of products in terms of Valencia beverages, which we offer. We are not changing his consumption pattern. We are not asking him to drink something which he was not drinking. He will continue to drink jeera. He'll continue to drink lemon. He'll continue to drink to lemonada or even a mango juice. Only thing is, we are offering a better product and we are offering everything at one shelf. That's why our bouquet is very large. We have several SKUs and we have several flavors in that.
Now, when you look at FMCG players, and naturally you said you want to be the number five because the number one, two, three, and four are more or less very established players, deep pockets. Two of them being international majors from US of A. When you're at number five, pecking order, in terms of competing with them, and especially in the tier three and tier four markets which you are planning to penetrate, how difficult or how easy it's going to be?
Well, sometimes you should not shout your victory before you win it. So I'll rather answer you this in 2031, how we have achieved it.
That's a great answer there. In fact, one of the things, Mr. Manish, that I really want to ask you was more about this tier three and tier four market. I did read somewhere you saying that sales executives are more or less comfortable in tier one and tier two cities. They don't really push themselves to go to tier three and tier four cities for very obvious reasons. Just like you don't like teachers going to those areas, you don't like doctors going to those areas. Is it true that there is a huge untapped market out there, unorganized ones?
Your question only answers it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's an untapped market.
So that is
And
the
people
strategy.
have money there.
That is the
People have money. They don't have options and choices. We are providing them.
great. Now, as I close this conversation, it is wonderful that half an hour that we spent speaking. Maybe next time you are in Hyderabad, not exactly a year from now, you should come before that. We will speak in detail more about the plan, the products, and other things. But in closing, I would ask you a few questions, which are really short ones. According to you, what is the most expensive mistake you avoided by saying not yet instead of saying yes? I did read somewhere about this one particular investment that you made, or one particular investment you didn't make, but I want to hear it from you.
See, we used to study more than 300, 400 companies before we used to commit fund in one. But the expensive mistake I have made was investing in a company called Eskumar.com, wherein they had Alibaba had just come in 95 and they were building similar model here in India. But the promoter maybe didn't had a fire to do it properly. So that's where I regret also that Alibaba could have been here in India, but it didn't happen. And I lost money. That's an expensive one. About avoiding, though, I have avoided many companies. That's why, ratio is 300 company. We research and we invest in one. So we used to avoid, and elimination was very sharp in our case. And it went on becoming sharp. So all that same virtues are getting applied here in Valencia Nutrition and curating all the subsidiaries. We are avoiding all the possible mistake, a common mistake an industry entrepreneur in those particular verticals will do.
With your experience that you picked up, the next question obviously would be what advice would you give to entrepreneurs or promoters rather who want to scale fast before actually having the capability of execution? What is the advice you would give them?
See, this today world, there is a lot of VC money and private equity money, and the mandate of that money is to scale fast. So many a time, even a Indian promoter doesn't want to jump something, but there is a having received money from them, there is a compulsion to expand without actually, proper grassroots grouting of those activities. Few of the people I have met were also expressing, because promoter knows what is going wrong, even if he is doing it. He doesn't want to do it, but there is a compulsion. And some promoters have that motive only, that I just will scale up, give just general market value as a criteria, and then I'll try and sell off. But that never works. I can give you 10, 20 examples. All those promoters who started their business building based on gross market value, in short, they call it GMV.
GMVs.
It has never worked. Promoters have collapsed, and there was never an escape. The companies have become defaulter, investors have lost money. So the shortcut never works. Even investor also should not, pressurize promoters, that you scale up fast, scale up fast. Scale up has its own pace. Same way as, rising of sun and sunset. It takes full 12 hours, 24 hours for sun to rise and sunset. It is going to happen, and one should give that time.
Great answer. You often speak of young talent and you call them the younger generation as liquid gold. Is that the right terminology?
Is my terminology for myself.
That's exactly why I asked you.
Today, Gen Z and Alpha Gen population which India has, and in fact, that is a major magnet for India. That India has, sub 25 people and sub 15 age of people, which is larger than even population of some countries. And that is high spending, very much health conscious. Many of the, the Zen alphas have stopped drinking alcohol. They are not taking alcohol, or they are not smoking.
Sure.
They are adopting like coffee, or some another format of some kind of stimulant, but they are going more healthy.
True.
That's the influence and good side of the social media, and their education, and their will to live a better life than their previous generation. So in my case, my office, I accept all young talent, and I don't want advisors here. I want people to walk the way I want them to walk. I know exactly what I want to do. Of course, improvisation is always welcome. I accept their suggestions. But even if suggestion is by somebody, he will have to walk the suggestion. He will have to implement it, or she will have to implement it. So this young talent does that. Unlike some mid-age person, he'll just advise, but he will expect me to execute it, or he'll ask me someone else to do execution. That never works.
As I say, a consultant takes your watch, tells you the time, and then charges you for it. Let's get, as we close the conversation, a bit more about your product range, because you did speak about the juices part, but there are so many other things that you have in your portfolio. Would you like to speak a bit about that, sir?
Well, after this PET bottle, which is 10 rupee popular bottle, and a juice base, and 38 NAC, which is around 40-50 rupees a product, like Energile and Gatorade and all. We have aluminum beverages also, aluminum can beverages, which is a separate division. Soon they will be also carved into a different subsidiary. There we have popular beverages, we have functional beverages, we have high altitude beverages, because beverages bottled at a certain altitude, have a different pH factor, and which is the groundwater is so good. So the taste of the same, suppose I make a cola here in Telangana or around Mumbai, and I make something from Uttarakhand or Himachal.
Leh Ladakh.
Leh Ladakh is different, I will tell you that. The taste will be different. But in India, again, if I make there and try to sell here aluminum can beverages, it will not work because prices will be high. So that will be exporting straight. In Ladakh, we are planning to manufacture Himalayan yak. It's our registered trademark. It will be energy drink used with the use of Shilajit. And it will be bottled in those plant in Ladakh, which will be setting up in a year or so. We are serving the product. We'll have even a spring water plant from Himachal or Uttarakhand. We will have a volcanic water plant. Volcanic water, so your Periyar water, everybody knows. Ladakh has many such streams. So it has a natural carbonation and all those minerals are there, which emerge from the volcano. So we'll be bottling it and surely we'll be supplying in India if the demand comes, but it is primarily will be targeted towards export, especially in GCC and entire Middle East. And we will be bottling we will be filling up our cans in our Spanish company also. We have formed a Spanish company. Initially, we'll be just getting it done from a very reputed company there in Spain. And then again, there again, we will be doing a grape cola, a cola sweetened through grape. But it will be done in Spain and sold in Middle East. If I try to sell from India, I may not fetch that premium initially. So I'll do that. So like that, we have the plan on the juice beverages and canned beverages. Then we have a lactation powder and pregnancy nutrition, which will be under Valencia Nutracare Life Sciences. There we have entire life cycle of nutrition, starting from pregnancy and then lactation and formula milk, and then female fertility nutrition, male fertility nutrition, entire value chain, gym nutrition, adult nutrition. So that vertical is doing very well now in terms of curation and sampling and all. Soon that vertical also will be having a commercial launch. There we'll be supplying tier 3 and tier 4 free of cost. Those, especially the lactation powder and pregnancy powder. Through the funding from CSR. Our team is working to source money from CSR. We'll manufacture that and supply to the NGOs and Anganwadis and few of the really good political parties who distribute it to the women's in tier 3 and tier 4. That is actually strata 3 and 4. Because there are stratas in Mumbai also which are 3 and 4. So it will be distributed across. So that division is going to see the light. Then we will have our concept is ready, proof is ready, sample is ready, but I don't have that manpower as of now. We have curated a toothpaste which delivers. Have you heard of sorbitrate?
Yes, sir. I did.
What it does is, when you put it, somebody has a stroke, in about a minute or so, it
dilutes.
It dilutes and it merges with your saliva and it merges with your blood.
Aspirin.
And moment it goes into blood starts getting thinner. So in 3-4 minutes, the heart attack is averted. It's called sublingual absorption. So our brush, when somebody does it, it has a vitamins and minerals. We have not used titanium dioxide. We have not used sodium bicarbonate. We have not used sugar also. It will be more like a gel, not like a white toothpaste, but gel toothpaste, which is widely accepted. And we have curated entire range of variants of Colgate. So once it comes, it will be very, very acceptable. So we have biscuits also, we have snacks also, many things.
Finally, when people look back at Valencia 20 years from now, what would you hope to say that you built beyond just plans and products?
I just said in the beginning of the interview, it will be Berkshire Hathaway. It would have created a lot of wealth for not only shareholder, all the stakeholder, and it will be generational business. Even all young talent in my office, I am telling, not only you will work here, your children will also work here and their children will also work here. So we are building something for 100 years and more. And I am taking a lot of inspiration from East India Company, how they really, conquered and administered in a
Positive.
in a positive and a corporate manner. A similar way, today's time, territory winning is gone. You have to win the customer.
That's true.
And we are going to win, and we'll be trying and getting pride to our great country, India.
Wonderful speaking to you, Mr. Manish. Thanks a lot for sparing the time and speaking to us at HYBIZ. Thank you very much, sir. Namaskar.
I'm equally delighted.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Manish Turakhia, Managing Director and Promoter of Valencia Nutrition Limited. He spoke in detail about his plants, his products, and of course, his consumers. But beyond that is a confidence of a man that he can deal with four big names in this market and still emerge as a fifth one. In terms of execution, in terms of delivery, he's got it all wrapped up. And then there are more products down the line. Let's wait for that. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.